One thing I've learned as an English educator for 6 years is that people who learn English through Korean never really improve their English skills. In Korea, a typical English class lecture is conducted in 90% Korean. So it's no surprise that most students fail to improve their English even after 12 years of schooling. In order to learn English, you need to experience English, and this is why we make our videos in English. We also provide subtitles to help you completely understand the content. So it's no secret that many Koreans struggle with the R and L sounds of English. But fear not, help is on the way. So for native speakers of English, the R and L sounds are very different. So when non-native speakers make some mistakes, sometimes it can be quite humorous. For example, you wouldn't want to mispronounce the word election as erection.
How's it going?
Good, and you?
I'm alright, just hanging out. Have a good time.
Did you catch the erection last night?
Erection?
Yeah.
Erection? No.
In the Korean language, there's a character that shares both the R and L sounds. This character is called ryul. Now, a lot of Koreans don't consciously know that it makes two sounds. Let's look at some examples. So in this section, we're going to talk about the Korean letter ryul, and we're going to talk about when it's an R and when it's an L. And first off, please excuse my non-native Korean pronunciation. It's not perfect, so I'm just going to try my best, so please bear with me. Okay, on this next part, we have 말, and is that a R or an L sound? What do you guys think? I'll give you a few seconds to decide. If you said L sound, you are correct. And let's look at the next word, 말 plus E. What do you guys think this is? R or an L sound? If you guessed R sound, you are correct. Notice it's not 말이, it's 말이, right? So it's not the same sound. Okay, next let's look at a few more examples. And here we have more examples of R and L sounds. Let's look at some R sounds first. So here, the ryul is going to make an R sound. So we have 팔이, 모래, 물이, 길어, 벌어. And for L sounds, we have 팔, 몰래, 물, 길다, 벌레. So as you guys can hear the difference between the ryul sound of 팔이 versus 팔, right? They're not the same. Or 물이 and 물. So the sound of ryul all depends on its environment and its position. And as native speakers, you guys have probably never even had to think about this before. Now, although Korean does have its own R sound, it's very different from the R sound of English. This Korean R sound is actually called a flap or a tap, and its IPA symbol looks like this. Other languages that include this flap sound include Japanese, Spanish, and even English. So in English, for example, the word better, the two T's, it's not really a T sound, it's this flap sound. And in American English, the way we say water, that T is also a flap sound. Okay, so we're going to look at the Korean R first. Yeah. And you notice the tongue touches the top of the mouth, as you can see there. Now let's look at the English R. And notice the tongue does not touch. Again, the tongue does not make contact with any part of your mouth. And the Korean R, the tongue touches the roof of your mouth. English R does not touch, and that is the main difference between the Korean R and English R. So when I first got to Korea, I was trying to, help some friends out or help some of my students out with properly pronouncing the English R sound. But the problem is they kept saying the Korean R sound over and over, and I would say it slowly with them, and it really had no effect. It didn't help them. They kept saying the Korean R sound. So, I was trying to figure out a method of helping them. And I accidentally came across this method. I don't know if I invented it, but I definitely didn't read it from a textbook or anything. So it's basically this. When Koreans heard, foreigners, such as Americans, speaking their language, they would make fun of their accent or imitate their accent. So for example, an American would say like, 사랑, 사랑해, and they would imitate it perfectly. And I was like, yes, that's the English R. So that is the method I've been using to help people properly pronounce the English R. I've just been getting them to read Korean words and then changing the Korean R to an English R, and for some reason that works. Okay, so the technique we're going to use, as I mentioned earlier, is we're going to read these Korean words with an English R instead of a Korean R. So we're going to read these with an accent in order to get you guys to properly pronounce the English R sound. So, for example, we're not going to say 사랑, we're going to say 사랑. Okay? Now it might seem funny to you, but this is actually effective for making you guys properly pronounce the English R. So on these examples, I want you guys to listen and repeat. I want you guys to follow along with me. Okay, so let's do number 1. We're going to say it as 사랑. 사랑. One more time. 사랑. So it should sound like the English word wrong. Wrong. Okay, the second one, we're going to read that as hurry. Hurry. One more time. Hurry. So it kind of sounds like the English word hurry, right? And then our third example, we have borrow. Borrow. Borrow, which sounds like the English word borrow. And then we have moron. Moron. One more time. Moron. And this sounds like the English word moron. And our last example here is dairy. Dairy. One more time. Dairy. Okay, so let's practice some words that start with R. And so I'm going to say it first, and then I want you guys to repeat after me. Remember, it's very important to practice. So you guys should be repeating when the screen says it's your turn. Okay, so first word is rag. Rag. Second word is ram. Ram. So remember, the key point here is that your tongue should not touch your mouth when you make the R sound. Next, we have rat. Rat. Raw. Raw. Read. Read. Rib. Rib. Robot. Robot. Room. Room. Ruby. Ruby. Rude. Rude. Wrap. Wrap. Wrist. wrist. So if you guys find yourself slipping back into old habits, using the Korean R instead of the English R, you might want to watch the last section of this video again. And just like many other things, it takes a lot of practice. So you guys should be practicing this, several times. It's very hard to just master in one day. You guys are going to need to keep practicing and practicing. Okay, that's it for today. I want to say thank you to a few people, including Alvin Wong, who helped film this video and took care of some technical difficulties that we had, and Michael Elliott, who will appear in the next video, part 2 of this video. Remember, this is a 2-part series. Also want to say thank you to Justin Gaines, Sally Yu, Steven, Ellie Kim, Deo Shin, Michael Choi, and SNS English on Facebook. And lastly, Daniel Kim, Emily Park, Sarah Kim, and Lena Ko, who helped us with the translations of the subtitles. Also, don't forget, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, or share this video with your friends. We also have other videos, including common English mistakes and another pronunciation video for TR. And also, if you guys are interested in learning natural English, especially through SNS or social media, I've written a book with Daniel Kim called 내 영어를 부탁해, and you can click on this video for more information. Also, don't forget, this is a 2-part video series, so go ahead and click on this link to take you to the next video. Anyway, thank you guys. Bye.